not yummy.
There's no bugs in her foot. But it's so funny, like, we're always joking, like, curiosity, it's not curiosity killed the cat, it's curiosity killed the chicken. Like, it's amazing how many times they're just like, oh, let me see what you're doing, let me walk into harm's way. They have no idea. I don't think anyone ever claimed that chicken was very smart.
Mm.
We've been keeping chickens here for, since January. I grew up with chickens and ran a small farm out in Ivy for a season, and we kept chickens there. So I have a bit of background with keeping chickens. But yeah, we started in January and just realized there are so many people in town who are already doing this. It'd be fun if there's sort of a way for us to all communicate and talk chickens and share resources and you know, kind of create a little community out of this initiative and encourage other people to do it, because I think a lot of people want to, they don't know how, they don't know how to get started, they don't know what what does the city ordinance say, and where do I get the feed, and where do I get my birds, and should I start with chicks or should I start with pullets, and there's so many questions that people have, but really it's the kind of thing where I think if you know other people are doing it, there's people you can call on to ask questions, it makes it so much easier. So I hope that we're encouraging other folks to sign up and get their backyard flocks going.
Absolutely.
We're city slickers who moved from the Washington area down here, and when we initially came, we had every sort of animal. We had pigs, we've had black Angus steer, we've had goats and sheep, we had a llama, we've had turkeys and pheasants and all that. The chickens are the easiest to take care of, and it's fun because you get, well, right now it's slower, so we're probably going to get about 25 eggs. I haven't gone out today, so we'll get them right out of the nests. But in the spring, we get like 60 eggs a day. We give, I think at some point probably 30 to 40 dozen eggs a week away. It's fun. We really enjoy it.
Yeah. Why did you start keeping chickens? Chickies? I think for one, to have another component. We were doing a lot of gardening. We wanted to have more animals. Some animals, other than just our dog on the land. And to help use them in the garden for scratching and for their fertilizer, so we can try to develop as much compost on site as we can.
The League of Urban Chicken Keepers is sort of a loose affiliation of folks in Charlottesville, but also in Albemarle and Nelson. We have, members all over, but who keep chickens in their backyard, have small backyard flocks. And like I said earlier, they're really interested in food self-sufficiency and, all the benefits that come with chickens, which is, they're great composters, they make great manure, they'll clean your garden out of, weeds and grubs and all kinds of bad things. So they're entertaining, so they're multi-purpose animals. But CLUCK serves as a resource for just connecting people. We have a listserv that's pretty active, so people can post questions. We've been starting up a sort of like a feed co-op where a lot of folks get feed from over in the valley. So one person will go and pick up feed for other people, bring it back to town. Everyone can come to their house to pick up their feed. So you're not, you don't have 6 people making independent trips over to Fishersville or Stewart's Draft.
How long have you been doing CLUCK?
I started CLUCK last winter in February, and a number of friends encouraged me to do it. I'd been kind of tossing the idea around of just sort of a loose affiliation of folks who keep chickens and care about, urban food, care about increased food self-sufficiency, want to have a fun project in their backyards. And so the name CLUCK, I for a long time I thought, like, how hilarious would that be to have the name of this organization be CLUCK, but I couldn't, the K was just driving me crazy. We had Charlottesville, we had city, we had urban, there's all the other letters, but the K was just driving me nuts. And so I was like starting to talk about it with people, like, hey, what would be a great K that would kind of finish off the K in CLUCK, and finally at a New Year's Eve party, I saw a friend of mine and he was like, Guinevere, keepers, it's keepers. And I was like, what are you talking thinking about it. We hadn't even said hello. And he was like, no, I've been thinking about it, and it's keeper. So anyway, I owe it all to Chris, and so.
It's been great. It's great to have a resource and to buy food with other folks and share that. You know, we've only done a food order going out with other folks one time, but it's great to share information too. When our first chicken got sick, we had like no idea what was going on, but now that people, you know, are just learning more and sharing information, it's filling a needed gap.
I think the way we learned about CLUCK was through ACAC, and it was that we were giving out eggs to people, and one of the members said, oh, they've just started this organization in Charlottesville, and you know, you should be part of it. And so they're on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
And so I just sort of monitor them on Facebook.
Okay.
Because they're a little different than I am, you know.
Yeah.
Because they do have, you know, just a couple.
Exactly.
You know, I go and buy 10 bags of grain, and they're looking to, you know,
Split a bag of grain.
Exactly.
That's good.
Did you just touch it to find out?
This is a chicken tractor. It moves seasonally.
Reminding yourself.
Look at that, ladies. You even get a little window.
What's the difference between, I guess, urban chickens and country chickens?
We can see if there's any eggs. There's 3 eggs. We get the eggs.
There have been 3 eggs everywhere we went. How weird.
It's really weird. Did she have any specific rationale?
I don't know. I think what she told me is that she was looking in a book of chicken breeds that talked about having chickens, and she was looking in a book of chicken breeds and stuff.
It's nice for the chickens to, I mean, they're fine in here and they're very well protected. But they do like to get out. They like to eat, you know, they like to eat grass. They like to scratch around in the mulch in the garden beds, which is sometimes good, sometimes bad.
Yeah.
Eggs, yeah.
This is brilliant.
Yeah, so this is nice too, just it makes it easier to get the eggs. You don't really have to, also helps you conveniently, you know, not be able to overlook the fact that you need to clean the chicken house. But that's another thing is just on this side of the house, this opens up so that we can get in here and clean
Oh, that's perfect.
when we need to. Yeah, but then up here, Juno's already going in.
What did this plan used to do before you guys?
Well, this is a dairy barn. This is a dairy farm. And we have about 10 acres now. But the original property went all the way across the street into the river. So they would just let them out at night. They'd go over to the river and come back.
Yeah.
Hello. Well, they say, oh yeah, food.
Yeah, I know. Isn't it that time?
Oh, they won't hurt you or anything if you want to walk in
Do you
there.
want to come in
They're
as well?
very mellow.
Sure. Happy chickens are mellow chickens, I think. Scared chicken. So then these are all the boxes. Are these all the?
Okay, for in here.
Did you get them? See, look, more than 3.
More than 3.
So we're lucky in Charlottesville in that the city ordinance states that to keep poultry within the city limits, the only limitation on that is that they must be enclosed. There's no limit on the number of chickens you can have, whether or not you can have roosters. There's certainly no limits on where in the city you can keep chickens. So as compared to some other cities, we are incredibly lucky in Charlottesville that the city is like, no, this is fine, this is cool, you can do this. And you know, it's real encouragement actually, because in a lot of places you actually have to do it, if you want to keep chickens, you have to break the law to do it. I was just up in Alaska actually for a conference for work, and I have a colleague up there who keeps chickens, and he has to do so on the sly because in Anchorage it's illegal to keep chickens. In Harrisonburg, they're fighting to have a citywide ban on chickens lifted. They had a minor victory in that the city council voted that if you live on more than, if your city lot is larger than 2 acres, you can keep chickens. But of course, how many people live on a city lot that's more than 2 acres? So they're slowly but surely making some gains there, but it's certainly a growing issue across the country. I mean, there's websites that track actually city ordinances about chicken keeping. So it's this is starting to change, but we really can count ourselves pretty lucky in Charlottesville that we don't have to put up with some of the red tape that other cities do.
Yeah.
So Sandy is the back Rhode Island Red.
Yeah, she's a bigger one.
This is Sandy. Sandy the chicken.
And that's Randy in the front.
Sandy and Randy.
That's adorable.